If your money finally started to feel stable, and then one small thing hit, and now you're right back at the start again, you're not imagining it, and it's not happening for the reason you think. Most financial resets don't come from everything falling apart at once. They come from one weak spot that quietly breaks. And once you see what that actually looks like, you'll understand why it keeps sending you back to the start and how to stop it from happening. What actually breaks? Most people think everything falls apart all at once, but that's not what actually happens. Usually everything is working right up until one small thing isn't. A bill shows up that's a little higher than expected. Something needs to be replaced. An expense hits that you didn't plan for. Something small but just enough to throw things off. And on its own, it doesn't seem like a big deal. But that's the moment everything starts to shift. Because that one thing isn't just an expense. It's a weak spot in your system being exposed. And this is where most people get caught off guard. Why this one thing resets everything. And this is the part that sends everything back to the start. Because when that happens, there's nothing set aside to handle it. And I'm not talking about an emergency fund, because most of the time it's not a real emergency. So you adjust. You start moving things around just to cover it. And it works for the time being. But now everything else is slightly off. And what you do next matters. Because that's how the reset actually starts. Not from everything breaking, but from one thing needing attention. And your system not being built to absorb it. Has this ever happened to you? Something small comes up and suddenly everything shifts? Tell me below, I'm curious. Why it keeps happening. And the reason it keeps happening is because that weak spot never actually gets fixed. You deal with the situation. You move forward again. Everything feels stable for a while, until something similar shows up again. And it hits the exact same place. That's why it feels like you keep ending up right back here. Because you are, it's the same break point, happening over and over again. And once you see this, it changes how you think about everything. How to stop it. 'Cause fixing this isn't about being more disciplined. It's about removing the weak spot. And for most people, that doesn't mean a full emergency fund. It means having something small already set aside. For the things that quietly throw everything off. You know, the little things. For me, that's a simple rainy day fund. It's not huge. It's not complicated. I usually keep around a couple $100s in it, just enough to handle the small things that would normally throw everything off. So when something shows up, it doesn't force everything else to shift. It just gets handled. And that's the difference between a system that breaks and one that keeps working even when things go wrong. And once you see that weak spot, you start to realize something. It wasn't that everything fell apart. It's that one small thing kept hitting the same place, over and over again. And that's why it feels like you keep ending up right back here. Not because you failed, but because your system was never built to absorb it. And once you fix that, something else starts to show up. 'Cause even when things are working, they only keep working if you keep using them. And that's where most people fall off. I'll show you exactly what that looks like in the next video. It's not live yet, but if this made you realize why things keep resetting, go back and start from the first video in this playlist. That's where everything starts to connect. And if you want to catch the next one when it drops, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it.